Yep.
I don't hear you, Carmen.
Okay, recording in progress.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Here's Amy. Okay. All right, the people are coming in now.
Okay, good.
Okay. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Yeah, there she is.
Okay.
Hi, Amy. Nice to see you.
Okay. So this would be Karen. I'm surprised that she's not there.
Yeah. Or maybe she'll join later.
Oh, no, she was very keen. She actually sent a message this morning, which I've just heard previously. Anyway, look, we should start. So, hello, Paulien. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, Jill.
Great to have you here on the Body and Balance Inspirational Women's Interview Series. Every single month, a different person, and Amy was my first, who's actually on the screen right now as well. And today we're going to be talking about sound bowl healing and family constellations and how we can manage different dimensions or different oh, here's Karen now. Thank you. I'm just going to get her in right now. Okay, good. There's Karen. Yes, family situations can be actually worked out, from what I'm hearing from Paulien, by doing a family constellation. But what I'm going to ask you right now is, how did you get started on this path to sound bowl healing? Paulien.
Yes. Well, I start actually by the real beginning, because actually sound healing is my latest modality that I studied, although I think it's my gift. But am I loud enough, by the way? Can you hear me okay?
It's a little bit jerky. Is anyone else having that issue, or is it just me?
Actually, I'll put on this just for the moment, because it's usually clearer sounds.
All right. Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, good. Right, so yeah, my healing journey sort of started about 20 years ago when I went to the spiritual community in Findhorn in Scotland. And when I came back, it was an amazing week. And when I came back, I was full of light. And as soon as I started to talk about it, that all went away. So this actually triggered me to learn more about energy and how we can give away our energy while we don't really want to. So it just happens just to learn more about how the aura works and the chakras. So that was the start. And of course, I was first trying to heal myself. I guess many healers are starting out that way. And then after a while, I thought, oh, I can actually make a profession out of this. So I learned many modalities, like a quantum touch, which is not so familiar here, but it's sort of like a turbo Reiki. So it's very much balancing the aura and the chakras with your hands on the outside, and not touching the body. And I did a lot of shamanic healing, and also a 3-year Drew meditation course, and theta healing quite a bit here in Australia. And then family constellations, and at the last the sound healing. So the sound healing, yeah, it has been since 15 years now. Actually, I was really intrigued by sound healing, and I have really wonderful friends that I met on the shamanic training. They used to give these sound baths with 4 healers and 8 people. So it was really, yeah, just 1 on 2. That was a very, very wonderful attention. So they would all play the instruments by intuition, and it always was just beautiful and very healing. So I thought, oh, one day I want to do that. And I thought, well, I need to study really a lot, and then I'll be able to do that. And then when I was living here, I had a shamanic drum made. And I'll show it to you.
Beautiful.
It's this one, and this is actually the big secret, because you can adjust it. It has a lapis lazuli crystal in there, and So this drum is really special. It's a horse skin and cedar wood, so it's nice and light. And when I started drumming that for the first time, I just felt this buildup in my throat. And I thought, ooh, it feels like I have to tone with this, but I'm afraid because my throat chakra has always been closed my whole life. And I did lots of healing. It was never really, fully opened. But when I started drumming this new drum, I just had to do it. I couldn't resist it. And out came this really new voice that I wasn't really used to. And so I felt like that was sort of my musical DNA that got activated at that moment. And that was really, really amazing to experience that. And then I sort of started doing a sound bath for free, the first one, and with just a few instruments that I had. And I loved it. And then later on, I did a proper sound healing study, and partly here in the Blue Mountains and in the UK. So a lot of it was online. So there I learned a 10 steps program of that. So that's the setup of a sound healing session. And maybe I can go over that.
Well, I was just
to give you an idea what.
So when you have a sound healing, what symptoms or issues can benefit from the sound healing?
Yes, there are actually many things that many issues that can benefit from the sound healing. Many physical, but also emotional and mental issues. So things that people that, for example, have insomnia, because you go into a really deep relaxation with sound healing. So people start to sleep better, and it's really good for pain relief. I actually had a lady coming to a sound bath, and she was in continuous pain in her hands. She was sort of already used to it. And then after the sound bath, she was 2 weeks free of pain. So that was an amazing result. And and I also have a special tuning forks, which I sell, by the way, which is 128 hertz, and that works really well with pain. So that's something I often do with people when they come for a sound bath, to just give them a taste of what sound can do.
So did you say tuning fork? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Okay, so
you cut out
sort of like this.
Yes.
So this one you tap. You probably don't hear it because it's very soft, but these you're meant to just hold closely to the ears, or you can go through the aura, and that will balance the aura as well. And so other benefits are, people can feel more rejuvenated and peaceful at the end. And really all kinds of issues. If you have, you feel some stuck energy, some emotional stuck energy. I mean, one time I had somebody who was really angry when she came in, so that was actually very perfect timing. And then with the gongs, I invited her. I said, well, if you want to make any noise, go ahead. So she started toning a lot, and she released a lot of that anger. And I'll just show you one of my gongs. So so that's a really amazing one. And then I have 2 other ones over there. So actually, when you're coming for a sound healing session, you will be placed between those gongs. And they're really wonderful instruments to release on a deep level. And so it's for many different issues you can use sound healing. And I always work with an intention at the beginning of the session. So a lot depends also on what you put in the intention. And then with the sounds, that will bring the healing. So that's always the start of my session, apart from checking in with people and just going over physical things.
Can I just asked, is it always about balancing the chakras? Is that what it's always about when you do it?
Well, not really. So, well, it's sort of one of the, so when I, after the intention setting, I do a chakra check with one of the singing bowls. And so I will move the bowl over the body, and then I'll hear, because when the chakra isn't fully open, you hear distortion of the sound. So then I know which ones are less open. So I'll focus on them with a singing bowl. And I have different techniques for that to release the stuck energy. So bowls can be placed on the body. And that's really nice because you feel the vibrations going through your body. And I can also move more in the aura layers. And yeah, so what was your question again?
The specific sound.
Oh, yeah.
So what specific, because this question is about, we're not talking specifically about what the chakras are, but what sounds can balance the chakras. So you just mentioned that you can put a bowl and you can actually feel which chakra is stuck. Is that what you just said? And it depends.
Yeah, I don't feel it, I hear it, because there will be a distortion in the sound. Well, it will be a different sound when a chakra is closed. And so then I will focus with the singing bowls on that. And officially there are notes connected to the different chakras, but I just usually go with my intuition. Yeah. So the F, for example, is the heart bowl. And so that opens the heart chakra.
Right.
And yeah, and then there are also, I work also with intervals. So for those people that know nothing about music, so that's the distance between two notes. Yeah. So there are harmonizing intervals that make you relax, but there are also intervals that are more dissonant. So those intervals I play those when I want to release something. And because often we have stuck energy somewhere, and by playing these dissonant intervals, things will shake loose and being released. So basically in the session, in the beginning, I let people relax by playing certain bowls in a certain way. And then halfway the session, it's more like releasing time. And I have different techniques for that and different instruments. And at the end, it goes back to balancing and harmony.
Okay.
And so, one of the great tools is also the tuning forks, like I showed you already. And so I strike them and then put them next to the ears. And because it's so close to your brain, it really impacts you very quickly. So I often see people just drift off to sleep. And I have different protocols. So there's nervous system balance and well-being that lots of people choose. But there's also increasing creativity, life direction, calming anxiety. That's a good one for these days. Digestive balance, loss or grief. So they are, it's a whole protocol of different intervals that I play, and that will set a reaction in motion. So that's really, they're really powerful, these tuning forks.
Yeah. What's the different instruments that you use and their different healing effect? You just said the tuning.
Yes, so I'll show you a little bit. So you can see here I have different singing bowls, but also see the chakra chimes. So these are the chakra chimes. So I can place them. So every chakra has a color and has a special note. So I can place these on the body. And that will harmonize those chakras. And I also have these. These are quite well known by now. These are beautiful chimes. So these I usually use at the end. And I have an ocean drum.
Nice. Oh, that's got sand in it or something? If you can't hear it.
Can you hear that okay?
No.
Oh, you can't. Probably have to change.
Oh, yes. Now.
And then I have the drum, of course. And this is a very special instrument. It's very much out of tune at the moment. It has 34 strings to tune, so, but it's.
Hear it now.
So this is an F, so the heart note, and yeah, this is a wonderful instrument. It has a continuous, beautiful sound, and I often tone with that one. And yeah, it's just really very relaxing, and I can place it also on the body. So I'll go back. This one.
Different instruments have different healing effects.
Yeah. So, for example, if you had the shaker, you can really shake things loose. And if you have one at home and you feel like stuck in a certain area, you just that's releasing the energy there, opening up. And so, yeah, so like I already said with the singing bowls, depending on the intervals, it will be relaxing or it will be more make you releasing things. And the gongs just, yeah, they work on so many levels. They're very clearing. And yeah, so usually the percussive sounds, the short percussive sounds really bring people back. So it's always, I always take care that I bring those in at the end. Or when people doze off during the sound bath, I try to bring them back to out of their sleep. And yeah.
Sorry, somebody's trying to get in. I'm sorry. I've just got to send.
Okay.
Sorry. Let me just check. Sorry, it said it doesn't work, but it does.
So maybe if anybody wants to ask a question in the meantime.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what's a family constellation? What's a family constellation? And what to do?
Okay.
How does it reconnect? Does it reconnect families?
Well, yes, in a general sense, can be. So family constellations is a really powerful modality that I also love. And it's it looks at the family as one energetic system and where it is out of balance. So yeah, it looks like where the energy, the flow of love stopped flowing. So basically when, for example, there are certain events that can really really disrupt the energy in a family. Like, for example, when a child dies early, or even or miscarriage, or if somebody is excluded from the family. And yeah, people at immigration and war. So those all have their, leaves an effect on the family. So for example, if a child dies young and the parents didn't really express their grief enough, then somebody in the family unconsciously takes the place of that child. So they don't really they don't really live to their fullest because their energy is sort of connected with that child without knowing that. So with a family constellation, you can make that visible. And the way it works is in a group setting, you would have a client that would say, okay, I have difficulty with my mother or my partner. And then there will be a short interview. And I only need to know sort of like the big events. I don't need to know all the stories and emotions because that will show itself in the constellation. And after this short, I just need to know okay, your family members, are your parents still together? Are they alive? Use representatives for their family members from the people that are present in the workshop. And they will be placed in the space by the client just by intuition.
Oh.
And then these representatives will show, they will family members. So that way you can see immediately who doesn't like who, or people who are close together. But you can also find out if there's, for example, a secret in the family where nobody talks about. And you don't really need to know the secret, but it's more important that you give it a place. So it's all about acknowledging what is. So for example, with the family secret, you just take somebody and say, okay, you are the family secret now. And then see the effect in the family system. And people will start to relax, or they have certain emotions. And even though you don't necessarily know what it is, you don't really need to, it will relax the system, and the love will start flowing again. And yeah, so that's a really, it's a really powerful way to find out any patterns in your family. And so lots of people have repeating patterns. For example, if your mother had trouble giving birth, for example, you can then have trouble giving birth. So these are patterns that are given by, from generation to generation, and they can go generations back. You can develop also an illness that actually had its origin 3 generations back, because you're carrying a burden that's not yours. So in a constellation, you can give back the burden to the person who is standing behind you. So for me, that would be, I could give it back to my mother, and then my mother would give it back to her mother, and then to her mother, and then we continue until the person that last receives it said, yes, it feels like it's mine. And that brings a huge relief to the clients. And so basically what we do in constellations after the initial setup, and when I know the different relationships, when everybody has said how they are feeling, how they are doing, then I will see if anybody is missing, if there's an influence or a person that needs to be represented. And then we work with healing sentences to resolve the tension. So the healing sentences basically acknowledge what is. So they, so for example, even a sentence like, you are my mother, I am your sister. But also things like, a parent could say to a child, I know I wasn't really there for you, and I just didn't really know how to behave like a parent, because I didn't have that experience from my parents. So, or you could say, well, it made me really sad that you never were there for me. And by just stating these simple sentences, things start to dissolve, and often people feel that their heart starts to open again and to be warm, and suddenly in a constellation they suddenly have a connection with another person that they didn't feel a connection with before. So that means that connection is being healed. And the interesting thing is, after you've done a constellation, it will continue to work on a soul level. And so sometimes people experience immediate results. Sometimes it takes a while. And I had a client a while back. She hadn't spoken to her brother for 24 years. And she did a constellation. And then 2 years later, she finally saw him again, and he apologized to her. And now they are, they are in contact again. So it's really resolved at some point.
Can I ask you, do you do this with a group of people, like the whole family, or individually about the family?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, it's only one person from the family. So you don't need the whole family. Well, actually, it's better not, because it's the client's image of the family. And you want to have also strangers, preferably, who don't know the family history, so they can be as as blanco, as empty as possible, so they can really tune in and feel with their heart, because this is a modality very much done from the heart, and not with thinking. So yes. And I've one time I saw a constellation with the whole family. That's only once that I saw it. And it was interesting because everybody had their turn in how they saw, where they had a turn in how to position the different family members. And it was all similar from every person. So that was really interesting to see.
So is this, when you do a family constellation, you said it's one client, but is it always one, like different people who don't know each other in a group, or is it always just a one-on-one experience?
I do both.
Yeah.
So I do lots of individual sessions in person, but also online. You can do this very well online as well. And in that case, people have small objects on a table in front of them. And they tune in, and I see the objects and I tune in as well. So we both tune in at the same time. And yeah, that's really, that works very, very powerful as well. And I do also workshops. I actually have a workshop coming up this Saturday, and that's a full day from 10 till 5. There are still a few spots available, where we will do constellation. So my aim is that everybody who comes gets a constellation. And we also will do systemic exercises. For example, what's your connection to abundance? Or is there something blocking it? And also I will do a constellation with, I'm drumming and toning. And so there's a different way of facilitating the process. That's also really works very well. And I always close with playing my singing bowls for integration. So if anybody is interested, you can still join. And those days are very, it's always really wonderful to do that. So people get a lot out of it, because not only they get their own constellation, but they also participate in other people's constellation. And when you're asked for a representative, there's always something in it for you. So it's never a coincidence that you get asked for this representation. So there's something in that person that connects with your own situation and that you can heal from. And even just witnessing can be really powerful. So when I was in my training, I had a huge shifts, and by just watching all these constellations, all those weekends. And also sometimes in a workshop, somebody says something, and I just feel that it touches something. And often I don't even know what it is, but I just feel this release, and something has changed inside of me.
Can I ask, so this one is Saturday 10 to 5, which, as most of us know, it's becoming that really busy time and there's too much going on. There are other ones coming up, and also, is it always that length of time, like that many hours, like 7 hours?
Yes, that's what I started doing, because an average constellation is about an hour. I mean, it could be half an hour. It just depends on how things evolve. And I used to do them in the evening, but it was difficult because people had to come from the city, for example, for just a few hours. And it's just not a lot of time to really sink into it. It's much more relaxing to do a day. And sometimes we're finished at 3 o'clock, sometimes people say, oh, I don't really need my own constellation because I got already enough out of it. And some constellations go really quick. So you never know.
And are you using instruments then as well? You're using the bowls and everything, the drums, all of that at the same with this?
Yeah, I used the balls at the end just to balance, so everybody lays down and just listens to the balls for integration, to let everything settle in their body. And I do the drumming just by one particular exercise, when everybody just moves on their own. Just, I give an instruction and then they will tune into themselves. And sometimes I use my voice, and that's something I've actually witnessed from a facilitator from Germany. He calls it, what's it called again? Healing voices. And the first time I was in a workshop when he did that, I had such a huge shift. And was the first workshop of the whole week. And I thought, oh, I'm ready. I can go home. I got what I wanted. And so that's how powerful this work can be. And so I asked my guys, well, can I do this too? And the answer was immediately, yes, you can do that. I thought, okay. It's not that I do it often. It just needs to, there needs to be a need for it. So, for example, when I feel, because always in a constellation, we work towards a balance. And when I feel, well, there is balance, but it could be a little bit more, then I can use sounds. And so I'll just channel those sounds, and I just let it go. And that's a nice extra way of shifting things.
I know when I had one in my studio with you, you used your voice, and you did say at the time that it just came out.
Yeah.
You didn't actually know it was going to happen. It just came out.
Yeah.
This meant that this group actually must have been requiring it. And I remember it being very powerful. And personally, I saw something that just blew me away in my own stuff, and which I just thought was incredible, and I'm sure other people did as well. But there was about 8 or 10 people, and everybody had different experiences, but you obviously felt that. So I remember being absolutely blown away by that. And I want to do another one in my studio as well.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
But sorry, another question that I've got here is, how did you get introduced to that? Now, you actually said that. I'm just going by some of these questions.
No, actually, I'd like to tell a little bit more about that.
Oh, go on. Yeah.
So I did, so I mentioned already I did a 2-year primal rebirth training in Holland.
Yeah.
And that was going through a lot of stuff. It was quite intense, I must say, a lot of breath work. So that's really getting stuff come up to the surface. And after a year, I thought, I've released all this stuff, but there's no change in my life. I don't feel like any different. And then we had the family constellation weekend. And everybody in the group, we were about 20 people, had their own family set up. So there was a lot of constellations at once. And that for me just shifted me just 180 degrees, because I was always quite sort of negative. And since then, I was quite positive, and I stayed that way. So it was a huge shift, and it really changed my life. So that's plus the advantage of seeing 20 in a row is that you see the different patterns in families. So what was clear that there were a lot of deaths in the family that were not acknowledged. And for example, when often it's the first child that dies, or a miscarriage, and when the mother doesn't really grieve about the child enough, then she doesn't really have she can't really be open enough for her children that come after. So what you see in a constellation, when they finally can connect with this dead soul, after they can say what they need to say, then they have attention for the rest of their children. So that was one of the big things that came out of that. And what also often happens when parents don't really get along, one of them might still be connected to a previous lover. And that was also really interesting because, yes, sometimes you don't know. So you can just bring somebody in, you say, okay, you're the previous lover of the father. And then you will see if some chemistry develops or not. So that's really, really fun to see. And when there is, then you know, okay, so this is actually preventing the present marriage to be really close. So once you say your healing sentences, when you acknowledged this previous relationship, and you can just say you came first, that's already an acknowledgement. And you can ask also these persons to give their blessings for the present relationship. And so those were sort of the two big themes in sort of everybody's life.
Mm.
And I'm always quite skeptical by nature, so I just don't believe everything at first sight. And for me, it was really, this really made me a believer, because I saw the same person who was representing a Nazi soldier, and the next time he was the lost lover of someone else, and it was a completely different person, really. So that really really changed my mind. Well, that it made me really believe that this is really true, because you really have sort of to feel it to believe it. And but we know that we're all connected on a quantum level, so in that sense it's not so strange. But
I just thought maybe someone might have some questions, if we are going to do a little bit of sound as well that you've mentioned. But if anyone's got any questions, yes, are you open to that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask? No? I'm just going along. No, nobody's hands are up. Anyone got any questions? Well, I do.
Okay.
I had someone do the tuning fork on me. And ever since, I was suffered severe dizziness, severe, like so bad that I ended up collapsing. And
Wow.
I was taken by somebody to the medical centre because they thought that I was having a stroke or something. And of course it wasn't that. And I had to explain to this doctor that I'd actually done this, and she just thought I was completely insane anyhow for letting myself have this. And I said, no, I wanted this. But since it, and I'm saying a few months, and I just wondered if you've ever heard of this, you know the person who actually did this with me, but I won't mention names. I've never felt completely back. I felt like a continuous dizziness, and it's always that same feeling. So have you heard of this, or do you know anything about it?
No, so did the dizziness come after the tuning forks?
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I don't even know how I got home.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not really supposed to happen because it's usually it's healing and not giving you something. And I have no idea what that could have caused, because so I suppose it was like I showed, like doing close to the ears.
And then actually in the base of my skull. The base of my skull, and then so like this right through. Another one.
Oh, okay.
Two. So what is it? Like the third eye type of thing, I think. Anyway, that's what happened, and it was sort of blew me away. The experience was quite incredible, but when the falling over was, I'm not sure. I just say you don't know anything about that. Right. It's just never.
No, I mean, sounds can have so many effects on the body. because we're made 70% of water, more than 70% of water. So sounds travel really good through all the cells, and yeah, they can heal any kind of things. But that it would cause something, yeah, that's new to me. I mean, because sound is really powerful, you can also harm people. I mean, when I was studying with a shaman and to learn how to play singing bowls, actually you can disrupt somebody's aura if you're not doing it in the right way. And I had that experience actually during my training because we were in a small room and everybody was starting to use a crystal singing bowl, and they are really powerful. If you strike them too loud, it can just affect your body. So I felt like my aura was sort of in bits and pieces, and I needed to go to a tree, and I gave the tree all my bits and pieces, and then the tree gave me my energy back, complete. So that's just an example of how powerful sound can be. So even if you're doing it with good intentions, if you don't really know exactly what you're doing, it can actually be harmful. So it's really
that's what I thought about this, because I think I need to come to you and get my aura balanced, because I don't know. I felt as though something changed completely.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do a session with you.
So has anyone got any questions?
Yeah, look, I was just going to say, obviously, Paulien, I've done family constellation with you, and it was a really amazing experience. And I had a belief and I suppose some issues around abandonment, and it was something that never felt like it was mine. So I couldn't work out how it belonged to this lifetime. And then doing that work with you, Paulien, I was able to go back to my father's history, and it all kind of got pieced together, and it helped me a lot. And obviously all the sound healing as well that I've done with you has been incredible. But I have my own sound healing bowl, and that was a question that I was going to have, and you kind of just spoke about it then, but I do have a little go of it and not so well. And I just wondered if you had any tips for beginners.
Okay.
If you've got your own bowl, what advice you'd have on not breaking up the aura, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just don't play too loudly. I mean, there are often the crystal bowls can get played too loud, and then it's not pleasant. I personally can't stand the frosted singing bowls. They're just too disruptive to my system, but I'm very sensitive. Is it a crystal bowl or a Tibetan singing bowl?
It's the Tibetan one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's also a thing like the bowl needs to fit with you. So, for example, there are bowls that I can rim the surface and it will sing, but other bowls won't. So it can be that it's not completely the right bowl for you, or it can be a question of technique. So I'm happy to show you if you come another time. And,
yes, I'll bring it with me next time.
That would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Are you going to do a little sound for everybody?
Yes, I just want to check if there are any more questions or any experiences that you would like to share.
Any questions, anyone? No?
Okay, so then I'll change microphone.
Or is there nothing else you wanted to say about, or we get dates for when you've got, or we do it at the end, or put it on the bottom? I'll link it if you like. If you've got
that would be nice. A link, of course, we're now in this train. We're at the end of the year, so I've just done a sound bath. Probably that's good to mention. I do them every month, and my website is whiteravenhealing.com.au, and I'm also on Facebook.
Sorry, if I put it in the chat for everyone, so just want to type it in yourself, or I type it in?
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
In the chat. Okay, there we go.
And on Facebook, most people I'm already connected on Facebook. So my Facebook name is Paulien White Raven Healing.
Yeah.
And the business one, White Raven Healing.
Right.
So you can. Oh, Carola, do you have any?
I think
No?
you're muted. Hang on.
Muted.
Carola? Can you unmute?
Carola, you're muted.
You need to unmute.
I'm a dinosaur. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
See? No, I just wanted to say I went to the last sound bath and it was just amazing, you know. Everybody who hasn't done it, I mean, this big gong is just up to die for. It's so nice. It's beautiful. Yeah. I have been to a few and I just love it. And yeah. And I will be at the family constellation. Yeah, and I'm so looking forward to that. That will be good. Yes. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Carola.
My pleasure.
Yes, so to finish, so I do the family constellation workshops in normal circumstances, say about every 2 months or so. And yeah, I can also do them online, also with a group. But yeah, the nicest is just being in person, so I can do the different exercises and way of, yeah, just it connects much nicer. But it is possible, so online. But it's nice. Okay, so are we ready for a bit of sound?
Lovely. Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. See a little bit of my. Okay. Are you not hearing?
You only hear the very beginning, and there's no. It doesn't stay.
Oh, that's good. Because we. Sorry about that. Yeah, when I go between the headset and the speaker. It's always.
A little.
Strange, because when we did it, it was.
Yeah, I know. Before.
Maybe let's see if that makes a difference. Is this better?
No, it's not really working. Just it's going in and out.
It's in and out.
Yeah.
Plus, it sounded static, like.
Okay. Yeah, because just trying different setting. Better? I see yes and no. Oh, I hope that was okay.
Another sound. I think actually that sounds beautiful. I thought.
Okay. Yeah, normally I record with a microphone, with a separate microphone. So this was not really ideal,
No.
but I hope you
No.
it gave an impression of what it can be. Yeah.
Your voice sounded very clear, actually.
Yeah, Zoom is made for the voice, so that comes through all right. But it sees the singing bowls as noise that needs to be cancelled. So that's why it's always tricky with Zoom. But I'm happy some of it came through. Yes.
All right, anything else?
I just wanted to say thank you, Pauline, because I'd had a massage just before, so I came to the session really open, and once you got the sound right, am I reverberating?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. So that was happening on yours too, Jill. So anyway, just to say thank you. Thank you.
Ah, thanks, Karen. Lovely to see you, by the way. It's been a while. Yeah.
That's right. We all met.
Well, thank you so much for giving this opportunity, Jill. It was really lovely to be on your podcast.
Details. No, have the recording. I put it up in my newsletter. And I'm still at body and balance. Run the fitness and wellness business. Mind, body and balance. And put it in your newsletter. Paulien? I'll send you the recording.
It's all,
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. We're dropping in and out.
it's all echoing.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
so what were you asking?
I was just saying that I'll send you the recording.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah, this will be on Facebook also, isn't it?
yeah. So it's very intelligent. I think when you change the sound, that's better already.
Yep, that's clear now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, my computer is making noise, so I
Yes,
can't
there's a lot of
avoid.
sort of, what do you call
Yeah.
it? White noise or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. And as I was saying, anyhow, that I will put the recording up on Facebook, plus I'll put it in my newsletter. So anybody who's on my newsletter list or want to be on that newsletter list, let me know. And the same for you, Paulien. I think everybody knows you from what I'm gathering.
The person who already went away, who
Yeah.
didn't have it was Susie, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Susie gone, has she?
Yeah.
Oh, Christina was there too. She's gone too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a pity. Oh
Hmm.
well. Anyway, so thank you very much, and thank you everyone for coming and joining too. And every month I do a different one. I've actually got. Does anyone know who Camilla Bainey is? Camilla
No.
Bainey?
Yeah, I sang with her once at the Mind
yeah,
Body
her
Spirit
voice-
Festival.
Her voice is her instrument. Again, very spiritual. I don't have her next month. I've actually got someone else. So it's next month is more. So my business is Mind Body Fitness and Wellness, and I have somebody else who's along those lines as well for next month. So it's all about healing yourself through, or mine is through human movement and music, and the music is also different vibrational levels that I use with my classes and healing as well. But so I've got someone next month for that, and then Camilla, I think it's the month after. So there's different each month, and if anybody knows anybody who is inspirational, apart from yourselves, I'm sure everybody, if you know anyone who you'd like to suggest to have on this, I'd love to get some names or sort of some ideas about what type of things that people want to hear or learn about. I mean, this is all new. I've started doing this. It's only my third of doing this, and sort of an awareness of different healing modalities and how people can get to a mind-body balance through different modalities. because this is very necessary now, and an immune system strong and all that sort of thing, which I just quickly, does this strengthen immune system? I'm sure it does, because once you balance
Yes.
yourself, that's what happens, which is really important. Amy talked about the nutritional value of immune system. I do it through movement. It's like, it's so incredibly important, and I'm sure other people on here do their different things too. But because we're really in a time that we must stay above and have the light and keep ourselves in the light. So thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay.
Thank you, Jill. Pauline, that was
Thanks,
fantastic.
Amy. See you soon.
Thank
I
you.
must see you today, actually.
See you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Paulien, do you
Bye.
want to stay here for a moment, and I'll just or everyone's leaving now. Okay.
Stop the recording.
Yes, I'm going to.
Okay.